See, we are going to discuss about spectroscopic techniques and their applications. So, in this class, we are going to discuss about spectroscopic techniques and their applications. Spectroscopy is the branch of science which deals with the study and interaction of electromagnetic radiation. As already we know, in our universe, we can categorize all the particles into two types. One is matter, second is light. Okay, when light matter interaction is possible, there is a formation of either emission or absorption spectroscopy is possible, and this light matter interaction can be discussed in the spectroscopic techniques. Spectroscopic techniques are important tool for the determination of new compounds in the research. Whenever we are going to synthesize a new compound that can be identified, that can be analyzed by using the spectroscopic method. Spectroscopy is also important in the medical field, like diagnosis of diseases. If any deformations are present, we can analyze by using X-ray spectroscopy. So UV spectroscopy is used in water treatment and also in the identification of new compounds. And the next is about, so even thin layer chromatography, TLC, we are using that UV spectroscopy. IR radiation is also most important. So IR radiation is very important for the functional group identification. That's the reason why. So spectroscopy is the branch of chemistry only. It is the branch of science which having fundamental role in the identification of new compounds. Now let us see what is mean by electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation, here light have different sources. It can be split into different lights again based on their wavelength and based on their energy. Highest energy radiation is cosmic rays, which stood top of this electromagnetic radiation. We've not mentioned here. And the second most energetic is gamma radiation. And third is X-rays. Fourth is UV radiation. Fifth is visible radiation, which we are staying, which we are observing the light, which comes under this visible radiation. It is in the range of 400 to 800 nanometers. It is in the form of 7 colors called VIBGYOR rainbow. So those 7 colors are all together called visible radiation. After this visible radiation, we have IR radiation and microwave radiation. Radio frequency will be there, that the last place. So this what radio frequency energy is least and wavelength is highest. There is an inverse proportionality between energy and wavelength. So greater the amount of energy, lesser will be the wavelength of compound. We can determine this light energy. So we can indicate either in the form of wavelength or energy or frequency. Frequency and energy both are in direct proportionality. So highest energy radiation is cosmic rays first, next gamma, and the least energy radiation is radio waves. Okay, so now let us discuss about UV radiation, UV light. Then what is the use of that one? So this is about electromagnetic radiation, which having two kind of waves. One is electrical wave, second is magnetic wave. Electromagnetic radiation have both the properties. One is electrical property, second is magnetic property. So both are in perpendicular nature. Perpendicular in the sense, if one is moving in this direction, if it is in topmost region, and the second magnetic wave have this opposite region, both are in perpendicular, opposite direction they are staying. This is called electromagnetic radiation. When we take the distance between two peaks, two waves, it is called as wavelength, which is measured in angstroms, which is denoted with lambda. So one can be taken as electrical component and the second is magnetic component. So this is about electromagnetic radiation. Now let us discuss about ultraviolet radiation and ultraviolet spectroscopy. UV spectroscopy, we are going to discuss about that one. In case of UV visible spectroscopy, when UV light absorbed by the molecule, excitation of molecule takes place from one electronic level to another electronic level. Hence, it is also called as electronic spectroscopy. UV visible spectroscopy is also called as electronic spectroscopy. Transition from one electronic level to another electronic level is possible. Now let us see in which region it is laying. After X-rays, next level is this UV region. So UV region followed by visible region will be there. Hence, this UV spectroscopy is also called as UV visible spectroscopy. Both having less energy difference. That's the reason why UV visible spectroscopy. Visible region, visible light is in the region of 4,000 to 7,500 angstroms. Otherwise, we can mention 400 to 750 nanometers. If it is mentioned in angstroms, 4,000 to 7,500 angstroms light region is called visible. Near UV region is 2,000 to 4,000 angstroms. Far UV region is below 2,000 angstroms. If the light is in below 2,000 angstroms, so it is called the far UV. 2,000 to 4,000 angstrom region is called near UV region. The visible region in the range of 4,000 to 7,500. So this is about the energy of this UV visible region. And the selection rule for UV visible, this is most important. If any molecule satisfy these selection rules, then only this UV visible spectroscopy is active and the molecule exhibit these UV spectral lines. UV spectrum is obtained if the molecule satisfy these selection rules. Energy requirement, the given molecule should satisfy delta E is equal to Hc by lambda. If the molecule possesses delta E is equal to Hc by lambda, then only that molecule involved in electronic transition. And the spin selection rule, here the spin of singlet should be excited into another singlet state. Here, based on the pairing of electrons, there is two possibilities of spin. One is singlet state, second is triplet state. Singlet state is nothing but when two electrons are paired in the single orbital, that is called a singlet state. When two electrons are laying in parallel spins without any pairing, two odd electrons are present in two separate orbitals, that is called a triplet state. Spin paired state is called a singlet. Spin parallel state is called a triplet state. Okay. So, in case of the second selection rule, singlet from the ground state should be excited into singlet state only. Triplet state should be excited into triplet state only. That means when paired electrons are there, after the excitation also paired electron should be there. If unpaired electrons are there, after excitation also unpaired electron should be there, then only it is active. Symmetry. Here the symmetry elements for this UV visible spectroscopy are ungerade molecule when excited, that should be converted into gerade state, then only it is symmetric, then only the molecule becomes UV visible active. Gerade state should be excited into ungerade, then only it is symmetric and then only it becomes electronic spectroscopy active. Let us see what is mean by ungerade, what is mean by gerade. When we are taking molecular orbitals, here two types of molecular orbitals will be there. One is bonding molecular orbital, second is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bonding molecular orbital is denoted with sigma or pi orbital. Anti-bonding molecular orbital denoted with sigma star and pi star orbital. You already know this thing. Gerade in the sense, bonding sigma orbital is called a gerade orbital. Anti-bonding sigma orbital is called ungerade orbital. That means anti-bonding electron when excited, that should be converted into bonding sigma electron, then it is UV allowed. Then bonding sigma electron when excited, it should be converted into anti-bonding sigma electron, then also it is allowed. Ungerade converted into gerade, otherwise gerade should be converted into ungerade. This is the third selection rule. First selection rule is energy E is equal to Hc by lambda. That energy should be satisfied. And the second is singlet to singlet, triplet to triplet transition should be there. Third is gerade to ungerade or ungerade to gerade is allowed. And the fourth selection rule is one-step excitation is possible. One-step excitation in the sense when the electron excited from E1 electronic state to E2 electronic state, that is allowed. That means Only one energy level excitation is possible. E2 to E3 excitation is possible. E3 to E4 is also possible, but not E1 to E3, E1 to E5 like that. Such a kind of excitation is not allowed. Only one electron transition is allowed in case of this UV spectroscopy. These are the selection rules. Now, the most important topic in this UV spectroscopy is types of electronic transitions. It is the most probable question from this unit 5. 90% probable question is types of electronic transition. If the question is given, write the principle of electronic spectroscopy. In that case also, we have to write the same question. So types of electronic transitions are nothing but principle of UV spectroscopy. Okay. So here in UV spectroscopy, there are the possible transitions are sigma to sigma star. In the ground state, if it is in sigma orbital, after the excitation sigma star, it entered into sigma star orbital. Ground state N is nothing but non-bonding electron that excited into sigma star orbital. Pi electron excited into pi star orbital. Non-bonding electron is also excited into pi star orbital. These are the four possible transitions in UV spectroscopy. UV spectrum is mainly given due to these kind of transitions. What are the transitions? Sigma to sigma star, N to sigma star, pi to pi star, N to pi star. These are the possible transitions in UV spectroscopy. Now let us see energy order of this transition state. Always N to pi star transition requires very less amount of energy because energy gap is very less. So excitation requires low amount of energy. Next, pi to pi star energy is somewhat high compared to N to pi star because of energy gap. N to sigma star, the energy gap is very high. That's why excitation requires large amount of energy. Sigma to sigma star is a very huge, large amount of energy required, and it is only observed in UV spectrum. That means UV light is required for this. High energy light is UV light, and this N to pi to pi star transitions occurred in visible region only. But N to sigma to sigma star requires high amount of energy. These will occur in UV region. First two transitions are visible transitions. Last two transitions are UV transitions because high energy is required for this excitation. Now let us see how it is possible. Then how can we represent this type of excitation of molecules? It is represented in graphical form. We are taking molecules in the energy increasing order. This is about energy increasing order. Five different energy levels are mentioned here. Sigma bonding, pi bonding. These are non-bonding electrons. These are pi star, nothing but pi anti-bonding. This is about sigma anti-bonding electrons. Okay. When electron taking the light, UV light, excitation takes place from sigma bonding to sigma anti-bonding. Sigma bonding is excited into sigma anti-bonding. This gap is very large. Distance is very large, like high energy transition. Okay. And the next, N electrons get excited into sigma star. This is second energetic energy transition. And third is pi electrons excited into pi star orbital. N electrons excited into pi star orbital. This is the least energetic one. That's why this energy profile diagram is given. N to pi star is least. Next is pi to pi star. Next is N to pi star. Next is sigma to sigma star. This is about the energy order of electronic transitions. Now let us see which molecules involving in these type of transitions. Sigma to sigma star transition in the sense sigma bonded electrons excited into sigma anti-bonding electrons. Sigma bond is present in alkanes and cycloalkanes, where only one bond will be there, that is sigma bond only. That's why these molecules involved in this sigma to sigma star transition. The molecules which contains only sigma bonds require this type of transition. They appeared in saturated hydrocarbon. Saturated in the sense there is no pi bonds. In that compound, we can observe this sigma to sigma star transition. And the second is about N to sigma star transition. Non-bonding electrons excited into sigma star. So that is anti-bonding sigma. This is called N to sigma star. Non-bonding electrons are nothing but lone pair of electrons present on the functional group. The functional groups of heteroatom especially have these lone pair of electrons. When we are taking OH group, oxygen have 2 lone pair of electrons. When we are taking this chlorine, chlorine contains 3 lone pair of electrons. When we are taking this NH2, NH2 is the amine functional group which contains 1 lone pair of electron. So these lone pair of electrons present on the heteroatom are called non-bonding electron. These non-bonding electrons are excited into sigma anti-bonding. That's why molecules of methanol, methyl chloride, and methylamine, these are the simple examples which involved in this N to sigma star transition. By taking UV light, these non-bonding electrons are excited into sigma star orbital, that is sigma anti-bonding orbital. Next is about pi to pi star transition, where pi bonding electrons are excited into pi anti-bonding orbital. Here, pi to pi star transition is possible in carbon-carbon double bond, otherwise carbon-oxygen double bond, otherwise carbon-carbon triple bond. Any pi bonded compound involved in this pi to pi star transition. Ground state pi bonding orbital, electrons get excited into anti-bonding orbitals. So molecules which possess this carbon-carbon multiple bonds, multiple in the sense more than one, either double bond or triple bond, those compounds are prone for this pi to pi star transition. Last is least energetic transition, that is N to pi star transition, where non-bonding electrons are excited into pi star orbital. Non-bonding electrons were present on only heteroatom. That's why we may take oxygen or nitrogen, and that should be in contact with this pi bond. That means double or triple bond should be there. Okay. Heteroatom containing double and triple bonded compounds involved in this N to pi star transition. This is the least energetic transition. Here, when we are taking this CH3CHO, this is called acetaldehyde. In this, oxygen have 2 lone pairs, so non-bonding electrons are available here. And this is about what carbon-oxygen double bond, so pi electrons also present. That's why electrons of oxygen get excited into anti-bonding pi star. Here nitrogen contains 1 lone pair. Those electrons get excited into pi star orbital because here also we have triple bond. So this is about N to pi star transition. So this is about electronic transition. Let us recall, let us revise again because it is the most important topic. It is the principle of UV spectroscopy. So electronic transitions are nothing but excitation of electrons from lower energy level, excitation of electrons from lower electronic level to higher electronic level is called electronic transition. In the given organic molecules, 4 different type of electronic transitions are possible. One is sigma to sigma star transition. Second is pi to pi star transition. Third is N to pi star transition. Fourth is N to sigma star transition. First, let us discuss about sigma to sigma star transition. Sigma to sigma star transition is nothing but excitation of electrons from ground state sigma bonding orbital to excited state sigma anti-bonding orbital is called sigma to sigma star transition. The compounds containing only sigma bonds involved in this sigma to sigma star transition. Okay. So which compounds have sigma to sigma star transition? Only saturated compounds. Saturated compounds are nothing but carbon-carbon single bonded compounds. Those are called alkanes. Along with alkanes, cycloalkanes also have carbon-carbon single bond. That's the reason why. So alkanes and cycloalkanes exhibit sigma to sigma star transition. And the second type of transition is N to sigma star. This is second most energetic transition. N stands for non-bonding. Non-bonding electrons can be excited into anti-bonding sigma orbital. The compound containing heteroatom and which can be excited into sigma antibonding. So this is called sigma to N to sigma star transition. So the example for these are any molecule which contains in heteroatoms as a functional groups, those involved in N to sigma star transition. We may take methanol, we may take chloromethane, we may take amino methane. So these are the simple examples where heteroatoms have lone pair of electrons. Those are called non-bonding electrons. And this sigma bond compound is there. That's why they involved in excitation. So this is about what N to sigma star transition. Third type of transition is pi to pi star transition. When the molecule contains unsaturated bonds, unsaturated in the sense they may contain either double bond or triple bond. In that case, pi bonding electrons they get excited into pi anti-bonding orbitals. So this type of excitation is called pi to pi star transition. Compounds having double bond are alkenes. Compounds having triple bonds are alkynes. These are more important in pi to pi star transition. So this is the least energetic compared to N to sigma star transition. So pi electrons excited into pi star, the energy gap is somewhat less. And the last is about N to pi star transition. N to pi star transition is possible when heteroatom present which is in combination with either double bond or triple bond. In case of acetaldehyde, here oxygen is in contact with double bond. In case of this CN, nitrogen is in contact with triple bond. That's the reason why in this molecule, non-bonding electrons get excited into pi antibonding, that is pi star orbital. This is the least energetic transition because the energy gap is extremely low. We already saw energy profile diagram of this these four type of transitions. So